Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Like always, we are here every single Thursday. We go live with you guys every single Thursday, so it's nice to see everybody here. I want to first start the way that we always start, which is welcome to a Freedom Day, right? And so what we got to do is get right to the chat box. We get into the chat box and we write, it's a Freedom Day. Go ahead, jump in there, type it in there. Excited to see everybody. Hello, Clara. Hello, Victoria. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for jumping in there. Thank you. Nathan, sir, thank you. All right. Why do we write it's the Freedom Day in there? That's how we got to begin the day. We got to testify. We got to put out the testament, right? We got to let everybody know, let the world know that we're building every single day and building our businesses to create freedom. Whatever freedom means to you, it could be financial freedom, location freedom, family freedom, health freedom. I don't know what it is for you, but we come here every Thursday at 11 a.m. and we try to help you build that, whatever that means to you, right? Today, I'm really excited because we're bringing in a friend of mine. His name is Tony Martinez, and I'm going to bring him up here, add him as a pin here. Tony Martinez is not only a friend, he's also the owner of CDPE. He owns a brokerage here in South Florida as well. He and his wife, Gabby, amazing people. But he is the owner of CDPE, which is a certified distressed property expert. And I saw a post the other day. Man, Tony, first of all, hey, Tony, how are you?
How you doing, David?
Hey, thanks for doing this with us, man. You know, it means a lot to us because we always try to bring the fire every Thursday. And I know you're coming in locked and loaded.
Absolutely. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Awesome, man. So just so you guys know, Tony's probably one of the best speakers we've ever seen on a stage. It brings a tremendous amount of knowledge. We are super excited and honored to have him coming June 20th to Freedom Day in Orlando. So if you are not booked for Freedom Day in Orlando, I encourage you guys to get your ticket. June 20th, cheapest ticket's $99. But here's the crazy part. The CDPE certification, if you went to cdpe.com to purchase the certification, how much is that certification, Tony?
$499, and that's as in $499.
$499, and you could go get your certification. Here's the crazier part. For the same exact price, you can come to Freedom Day with a VIP front row ticket and get the full certification as well. So hell of a deal. Tony did us a real solid, said, hey, listen, you know, I'll give you guys a discount for that one day. And so for $499, you get a VIP ticket, which we're selling for $249, and you get the CDPE included in that. So get your tickets at freedomachieverday.com, or you can do itsafreedomday.com if that's easier to remember, because we type that in every single time we're here on Thursdays at 11 a.m. So Tony's going to bring a ton of knowledge, and I'm going to jump right into it because I saw a post the other day that Tony put up, that you put up, Tony, and the post said, it's unbelievable. I'm paraphrasing here, by the way. I should have screenshot it. It's unbelievable or incredible how many listings agents are losing due to lack of knowledge. What did you mean by that?
Well, what happens, Dave, is that within the real estate industry, we have a lot of agents that were not around during 2008, 9, and 10, when we had the great mortgage meltdown that led to millions of properties being foreclosed. So if you were to go ahead and go to a typical real estate agent, I'm not saying all of them, but many of the newer ones, and you ask them about their experience or involvement with distressed properties or distressed homeowners, most would say, I have no idea what you're talking about. And the reality is that even with the incredible market that we've had over the past several years, foreclosures never went away. Now, they haven't been as prevalent as they were back in 2008, 9, and 10, but they never went away. And now they're heating up again. And what I'm seeing or not seeing is brokers, leaders, team leaders, managers encouraging their agents to get trained in this area so they can go approach people that have not yet lost their home to the banks and encourage them to take some action. Maybe that action is talking to the bank and seeing if they can work something out to stay in the home. But sadly, a lot of folks are not going to be able to do that. And then that means exiting. But help them to exit with dignity. There's nothing dignified about being kicked out of your former home by the sheriff. You know, what's even crazier is that many of these people have equity, man. They have equity, and yet they're still going into foreclosure and letting the bank erode most of that equity through their fees. So I'm on a mission to train as many agents as possible to go out there and engage. And this is why I got behind what you're doing, because I love the leadership that you're demonstrating. I love what you stand for. And I figure if I can make your package even more attractive, let's get an army of agents out there engaging distressed homeowners.
It's, it's interesting that you said that they're not going away. They were never irrelevant to begin with, right? So I remember 2008, market crashed. I needed to shift and figure out what I was going to do because I couldn't do 3 deals at the same closing table anymore, right? And so I know you know what I'm talking about. It was like, to John, then to Jim, then to Susan, made 3 commissions, wholesaled one of them, like it was insane. And I remember becoming like the short sale king. Like I did the very first year of the crash, I did over 60 short sales. And this was before Equator, before all the, systems were in place, before banks even knew what they were doing. Right. And so I had files like 12 inches thick, like 6 to 12 inches thick, sitting on my desk, and 60 of them, faxing to the banks. And then calling the bank and being on hold for 2 hours, trying to see if they received my fax, right? And I remember having a conversation with someone at a bank, and they said, look, the reason that it's so crazy and it's taking so long and things of that nature is because we now have a lot of them, but we've always had them. People always, not, I don't want to say people, there's always a chance of someone losing their home for whatever reason, illness, job loss, income loss, whatever the case is, And so right now, even though a lot of us still feel that the market is still solid, that we have low inventory, that buyers are still capable at 6.5% surprise, right? Like, there's still a lot of job reductions, a lot of job loss. We talk about it all the time. AI is making a big presence. We're talking about advertising agencies getting rid of all their content creators and, content writers. Like, people are still losing their jobs and things are still happening. Can you give us kind of like a lowdown of what's happening in the market today, maybe nationally, so that we're not in this bubble of wherever we live, on a national level, and why CDP is like, why this knowledge is so intense right now, necessary?
No, listen, I love it because we're all entitled to our own opinions, but not our own facts, right? And the biggest reason why foreclosures fell out of the limelight was because of the moratoriums that we had across the country during COVID. Essentially, for almost 2 years, the banks could not foreclose. So people got a free ride for a long time. Not only, and here's the thing, a lot of people remember the CDP from back in the day. I call them my OGs. They're the old guard or original gangsters, because we became the fastest growing designation ever in the history of real estate during that terrible time of 08, 9, and 10. But the CDP actually closed down in 2020. And it wasn't until 2021 when I acquired it and brought it back. One of the reasons why I acquired it is when you saw 8.5 million Americans take the government up on their offer of not having to make their mortgage payments through forbearance, first for 6 months, and then another 6 months, then a third 6 months, and if you're FHA, 24 months. You know how many people are under the impression right now, David, that had a forbearance agreement that they never have to pay that money back?
It's insane.
So yeah, it's insane what's coming. So here's the thing. I want to separate the conversation into 2 things. I don't want to run around yelling like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, the sky is falling, because I don't have a crystal ball. I can't look into the future and say, man, this is exactly what's going to be happening here. Let's deal with what's happening right now. What's happening right now is there are foreclosures in every single state. Now, we're seeing this being very regionalized. Now, I am a big fan of atomdata.com, and that's ATTOM data.com. I go there almost every day for updates, and they're probably the next day or two, we're going to get the May numbers out, but I have some April numbers to share with you all. And this is where I kind of get down and dirty and I say, look, here's a situation. In April 2023, the top 5 states for foreclosure were Illinois, Maryland, New Jersey, South Carolina, and Delaware.
Wow.
Now,
New Jersey
yeah,
too?
New Jersey is always in the top 5. I'm surprised Florida's not there. I'm surprised California's not there. But what happens is it fluctuates. But if you were to look at the top 10, California, Texas is usually there, and Florida is there. Even with the fantastic market that Florida has been experiencing, I'm in South Florida, you're in South Florida, so we know there's still foreclosures. Because here's something I want to definitely try to ingrain in everyone's psyche. Having equity, and a lot of people do have equity, does not equate to being able to afford to make your payments. And I want that to sink in, because a lot of folks don't realize how many people in America live paycheck to paycheck. About 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. That means they could be sitting on $100,000 or $200,000 in equity, get laid off, and the very next month not be able to afford their mortgage payments. You know
No matter
why?
how much equity there is in that house, it's not going to happen.
It doesn't matter. You can't necessarily, now you can't tap that equity because you're out of work. You can't qualify. And that's
Robert,
even
I think it was Robert Kiyosaki said money in your house is not money in the bank.
No, well, I mean, that's the reality is a lot of times people have gone to that ATM that I call a house so often over the past several years, right? They've refinanced 2 and 3 times, and they've pulled whatever equity they could have out of the market already. Now, when you couple with that, many areas of the country, we're seeing prices dip, we're seeing equity being eroded. Only 43% of Americans can afford a $1,000 emergency expense from their savings accounts. You know, I think it's going to get dicey. So I'm just preparing people. I'm not necessarily preparing them for what's coming. I'm getting them ready for what's there right now. If you were to pull up the foreclosures in your market, they're there. And here's what I can almost assure you. There's hardly any agents in your market knocking on these doors, making phone calls, sending postcards, making contact with these people to see if you can help them avoid foreclosure through either a short sale because they're underwater or a regular sale because they have equity.
That's it. And so that's where we come back to the original post that you created, that so many agents are leaving listings on the table because they just don't know. Here's the crazier part. Because we don't know as professionals, and I say we as a real estate industry at this time, right? Because you're right. I say it all the time in these trainings. If you've been in the industry for the last 4 years, you have no idea what's coming. If you've been in the industry for the last 10 years or less, all you know is an ascending market, right? So what's to come, we need to educate ourselves. So that leads me to what I was saying, which is because our community is not educated, we're not educating the consumer.
Well, absolutely right. And, you know, a lot of this is messaging. So what tends to happen is, and I understand, I'm a broker owner myself. So, you know, we're concerned about not scaring our agents, but that's ridiculous. You know, the whole point is it's not about scaring them, it's about preparing them. You know what's scarier than giving your agents the news that maybe there's foreclosures out there? I think what's scarier and sadder is when their board dues come up and they have to leave the business because they can't even afford the $800 or $1,000 to pay their board dues. Because you know what? There's fewer deals out there. I don't care where you're at, there's fewer deals out there. Yeah. And one thing I can tell you that with 100% conviction, the world does not need 1.6 million realtors. We do not need 1.6 million realtors in the United States. And that's what we started the year with. Do you think we're going to end the year with 1.6 million realtors? No.
No. I've been saying it for a minute. I think we lose 250,000 plus agents this year.
It's happening every day, man. It's every day right now. You know, it's happening in my office. It's happening throughout every single system out there. Board sends out their dues. Agent says, I haven't done a deal all year. Because let me tell you something, the time to make money just by showing up was 2 years ago, was a year ago. Now we're back to skills based, man. Now we're back to competing. Now the order taking is gone and we have to prospect. And here's the thing, everybody wants to be a luxury agent. Everybody wants to be a lot of these sexy things. There's nothing sexy about being a distressed property expert, but it's nothing crowded about it either because most agents are ignoring this segment of the market. So forget about what the other ones are doing or not doing. You do something to make sure that you're still around 6 months from now and 6 years from now.
It's funny that you say there's nothing sexy about it. And you're right. Like, no one's running around going, I'm a certified distressed property guy, like
I do that.
You do it. They want to say luxury. Yeah, they want to say luxury. They want to say waterfront, say mountaintop. They want to say with a view. And the crazy part is that when 2018 happened and I became the short sale king of America, right? I'll tell you what was sexy is that I was still in the industry. I was still banking while all the waterfront guys were serving me at TGI Fridays.
Yeah, 100%. Man. You know what? Listen, it's going to get tough out there, brother. We know. And everyone, I think, on the call right now is seeing the shift. So it's going to be about the people that have the most to bring, right? And I'm a big believer in niche marketing. See, right now, we have so many general practitioners. What we need are more specialists. We need people that are able to focus on a particular niche. And there's a bunch of them out there. But you know what? A lot of them are crowded, as I mentioned just a little while ago. So look for an area. And here's the thing. If you have a heart to serve, if you've ever been involved in helping somebody avoid foreclosure through a short sale or whatever, you know that feeling of satisfaction that you get when you help that family put that chapter behind them and give them a fresh start. And you probably have experienced referrals non-ending from these individuals because they become the most loyal customers you're ever going to have. So for all these reasons and more, get engaged. Now, there's one other critical thing, because I know time is limited. Now, tomorrow I'm going to have the opportunity to speak to a group of REO brokers. And you know what my message to these REO brokers are going to be? Get into pre-foreclosures. Because here's the thing, maybe there's someone in your audience that doesn't understand what an REO is, but that stands for real estate owned. That means that the bank has foreclosed on the property, taken it back, and now has listed it for sale through a local brokerage. And that is an area that so many agents every year want to get into. They want to get into REOs. You know why you want to get into REOs? Because you don't know what REOs are. Because if you know what REOs are, you know that it's not as glamorous as you think it is. It's not as lucrative as you think it is. It's really, really hard work. And the lenders already have their people in place. So what you do is you line up with another 10,000 agents that want to be REO agents, and you have your bowl out there say, please, sir, can I have an REO? And their numbers are down because the government is going to do everything possible to keep people from foreclosing. The lenders are going to do everything possible to keep people from foreclosing. But when you know what to say to someone that has been given a notice of foreclosure, but it's still their home, they're still the one that decides who they list with. That's where the money is. Learn to engage those individuals because you are face to face with the decision maker.
I'm glad you said that. Let's talk about the decision makers and their lack of knowledge. So, before someone buys a house, where do they lack knowledge? They lack knowledge, do I qualify, right? Like, do I have enough money? I can't tell you how many conversations I've had with somebody where I go, why don't you just buy a house? And they go, no, I'm going to rent because my credit's not that great. And I go, what's your credit? And they go, well, I got like a 660. Don't I need a 700? And then I go, what do you do for work? Oh, I have this job. Been working there 10 years, W-2. I'm like, dude, you're like a lender's dream. Let's go get you qualified, W-2, 10 years at your job, 660 credit score. Let's go. They just don't know. But once they own the house, us as real estate professionals make the biggest mistake of letting them go and no longer informing them. And now this person maybe loses that job because on year 15, his company decides to downsize. And 5 years before retirement, he loses his job. And now he can't afford the monthly payment. He might have equity in the house, but he can't afford the monthly payment. He does not know what to do. And this person may have options. They could probably sell normally and make a profit on that sale and go do something different, whatever that is. Or maybe they have to short sale because they took money out when they had a nice job and they put a pool in the back, and now they don't have enough equity. So maybe they need to short sale, right? There's so many options that are available to them. There's new loan options, 40-year refi, FHA, for refi only, right? And so like there's options for consumers in homes. We are not putting out the message enough. And when the market changes, you made me think about something. When the market changes, there will be people losing their homes to foreclosures, to short sales, whatever it is. But then there's another group of people that a lot of people don't even think about. And that's the group of people that saved all their pennies. That's the group of people that created funds together. That's the group of people that are in better shape, that are there to pick up on those losses. They're investors. And we forget about them. So while we're helping these people find a solution, we could very well be bringing up the conversation to investors and working to not only help investors build a portfolio, but help somebody get out of a real bad situation.
Completely agree. A couple other terms that I would love to share in the time that we have. Number one, I think it's important. We've been talking short sale, and there's at least the possibility that there's one person listening doesn't know what the heck we're talking about. And what we say short sale is, imagine a situation that you go to the bank or banks and you say, hey, we know that you're owed $500,000, but the house is only worth $400,000 now. Would you be willing to take less? Would you be willing to take a haircut, a significant haircut? And that's really what we do. It's a finesse thing, it's a money thing, it's a numbers thing. But what we want to do is we want to help that person avoid foreclosure by enticing the bank to take the deal. And look, without getting into too much specificity, the banks don't do short sales out of the goodness of their own hearts. They do it because it makes financial sense for them to do it, right? There's opportunities everywhere. One of the recent articles that I shared, and you'll see it on adamdata.com, is zombie foreclosures. Now, the minute I see zombies, I always perk up because I'm a huge, Walking Dead fan, and let's not go there, right? But people say, what the heck is a zombie foreclosure? And these are properties that have been abandoned. And there's about 1.3, 1.4 million of these across the country. When you say there's a lack of inventory, a lot of this is because there are people. Now, check this out. This is how sad this is. The average American doesn't understand what the laws are or the rules are or the processes are in their individual states when it comes to foreclosures. They fall 3-4 months behind, 5 months behind. They get a notice from the bank that says, we're coming after the house. What do? They freak out. Do they seek out the help of a realtor? Probably not. Do they go talk to an attorney? Probably not. What do? They freak out, they pack up, they leave the house. The dumbest thing that they could ever do is to leave the house. Where are you going to go that you're paying less than zero for right now?
Right.
And while you're in that home, there's always a chance that something could be worked out. And if nothing else, sell it for whatever equity you can, or sell it as a short sale and avoid having a foreclosure on your record. People think that, okay, they took the house back, I'm done. Forget you. No, forget you nothing, man. That foreclosure stays on your record for 7 years. Many states allow banks to come after people, come after them for a deficiency judgment after the fact. That means that they can come after you for what they lost. So when you think you put that chapter behind you, no, you didn't. You just kicked the can down the road. And one more thing, man, somebody else reached out to me yesterday saying, Tony, I got this scenario. I was knocking on doors and I came across this couple. They're in foreclosure. They spoke to some dude or some group. The group started taking them more. They you know what they did, bro? They signed over the title of their home to these scammers. These scammers claimed that they were going to be working something out with the bank, and then started charging rent to these people. They didn't do a damn thing. These folks have been paying rent to live in their own home. But then again, it's not really their home anymore because they signed over the deed to it. But the mortgage is still in their name, so they're still responsible. One of the things that we got to do is we got to mobilize and we got to get to these people before the con artists get there, before the scammers get there.
That's the messaging, man. I mean, I know, you know, but when 2008, 2009, 2010, those years, all these crazy companies came out of nowhere. We will help you. We will block this. We will get this done for you. And they were all garbage because they were just these mass production, you know, you're just another number situations. Nobody cared about you. It was garbage. And then speaking of the zombie properties, I remember going to some of these homes where not only did the people up and leave, but some of these people actually ripped the cabinets out of the kitchen to sell the cabinets and ripped the copper out of the walls to sell the copper, maybe out of necessity. I don't know the story. I'm not going to judge them, but maybe it was, we have no money. We can't pay our mortgage. They're going to foreclose on us. Might as well sell everything down to the studs, put some money in my pocket and book it. You know,
Dave, I was going to say, you have a kind heart, brother, because you say, I'm not going to judge. Dude, I will. Ain't nobody need to take a kitchen cabinet with them. All right, bro? There's going to be a kitchen cabinet where they're going. You don't need to take the toilets with you, and you don't need to take the copper pipings with you. I love you, brother.
They were selling the stuff. They needed some money in their pocket.
It was revenge, bro. Let me tell you something. One of the segments I cover in my class is the 7 emotions that people go through, and one of them is revenge. And they say, I'm going to stick it to the bank. I'm going to take this with me and everything else. And what they don't know is they open themselves up to more legal action because the bank's going to say, oh, you took the cabinets, you took the toilet, you took the plumbing. Let's get the insurance company involved. Yep. And they're going to get a check from the insurance company. Now the insurance company is going to say, hold on a second. What right did you have to damage the collateral to this loan? Tell you what, we're going to come after you now. So in addition to all the other worries that you have, now you got a multi-billion-dollar company suing you for doing something insane. And this is why we have to be the cool heads. We have to be the ones that make contact with them and say, well, bro, you could take the cabinets, you could do this, but here's why I'm thinking that's not the right move for you. And be able to explain to them calmly what the best course of action should be.
I'm going to write it big up here, man. Message, right? Because we need to be able, as professionals, we need to be able to understand what's happening in the market. We need to be able to be educated in all these different certifications, such as yours. We need to be able to pass this message on. That, you know what, the consumer, the public, whether you believe it or not, the consumer depends on us to put out good messaging. You know. And I'm going to encourage something, and I'm going to say this right now. When you're putting out good messaging, put out messaging that you have researched and understood, right? So a little while ago, I wrote 40-year FHA refi. For the longest time on social media, I was watching realtors post 40-year mortgages available, and that wasn't the case. Somebody read a title. They didn't read the article. They put it out there, and then everybody else just followed suit. Sheep, right? And so I'm telling you right now, you're getting some real knowledge with Tony right now. And this knowledge, feel free to, when after this class, create your 60-second reel and say, consumers, right? If you're facing foreclosure or you're not able to pay your mortgage, let's have a conversation, right? But furthermore, I want you to, man, you don't know who you might be touching at that moment. You don't know who you might be helping at that moment. Every time you post up something, whether it's negative, positive, whatever it is about the market, every time you post something, you never know who you're going to impact. And somebody could just be sitting there, depressed, flipping through Instagram, hasn't paid their mortgage in 3 months, doesn't know what to do next, can't find a job in their career or whatever it is. And here you go. You pop up in their feed, and the first thing you say is the hook. We always teach hook when we're doing videos, right? So the first thing you say is, if you're facing foreclosure, or you're not capable of paying your mortgage, let's have a conversation. Simple as that. Crazy part. It's crazy, right?
Yep.
And Dave, I don't like videos. Okay, get over it.
Yeah, we're solid on that. Video's king now, and I think that, and again, there's so many different ways. If you help somebody avoid foreclosure, do a video testimonial from those individuals. Kathy, who's on the chat area, I hear. Kathy's been through my class, and she paid me the ultimate compliment that she loved it, but she's wrote here, I'm in the process of getting a team together, plan to do English and Spanish workshops. Well, what workshops is she referring to? The foreclosure prevention workshops. Where have you seen any of those advertised? No one does it.
No one's doing it.
And let me tell you something, I got 2,000 members, and I wish I could get all my 2,000 members to do all the things I ask them to do. The reality is most agents will not do what's in their best interest to do. So just don't be that agent. What I want to clarify something. So I'm really looking forward to June 20th, because you're going to give me some stage time, and I'll share some numbers, and I'll give people some things to think about and some call to action, but they're not actually going to earn the designation that day. I don't want them thinking I'm walking out with the designation, because it's an all-day class. So what's going to happen is they'll be able to take it afterward, online, on demand, which is at their pace from their home or office, whatever. I have a hybrid version that I have a July program coming up. And they say, Tony, I really like the idea of semi-live, you teaching it and interacting with me, but without me flying into Florida to do it, they'll have that option as well. But man, they got to do something. This is the time to take action now. Summertime is when most agents check out emotionally, physically, everything. Now is a time for you to pounce on this, get this training, assemble your short sale team, assemble your pre-foreclosure team, all of the things that you need, the marketing pieces, the messaging and everything, and to go out there. And I don't want to hang up without giving them a couple of ways to do it, because one of the number one questions that people have is, where do I find these? You know what? I wish I charged people for that answer, because they're everywhere. You know what? When somebody is behind on their payments 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, it's nobody's business that they're behind on their payments. But once it gets 4 months or longer, there's a federal law that says banks, you are not allowed to initiate foreclosure action against them until they're at least 120 days in default. Once that happens, and depending on the state, the process is different in different states. Once it has been initiated, it becomes public record. That means everybody knows your dirty laundry at that point. If you're in Florida and you have access to IMAP through your MLS, you can go see foreclosures right now on IMAP. You go to the courthouse sites, or you can subscribe to some of these vendors like RedX and Vulcan and LandVoice, and there are advantages to getting one of those subscriptions as well. So these are the things that you need to go ahead and do, because you can start right now and engaging these individuals.
And oftentimes I tell people, listen, the time to get into something is with foresight. We already know the market is shifting. All right. If you don't realize it's shifting, wake up. Okay. It's going to continue to shift. As it continues to shift, you want to already be in position and already helping people in that position. Right. So you need to already have some experience when the numbers of foreclosures and the numbers of potential short sales and pre-foreclosures begin to tick up. because now
Yep.
you're the expert. Now you have the experience. Now you have already been doing it for several people. You've already saved some homes. You've already saved some families, right? And so
Yep.
now you get the opportunity to go and like really take off, you know? So Clara is saying that she's already certified, right? She says, can I attend even though I'm already certified? So Clara, to clear this up, yes, you can attend our conference June 20th, more than happy. Cheapest ticket is $99, okay? If you've already been certified, I don't think you need to recertify, but Tony, you could tap into that.
No, you don't. No, what happens is when somebody, and I want to clarify something because my God, there's so many different things. There is someone that says, hey, I was a CDPE 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago. You're an OG. So the first thing that you need to consider doing is either renewing, reinstating with us. And what we do is we have extended the price of 12 years ago, which is $99 per year. That's it. For $99, you come back. Now, that doesn't give you the course. It doesn't give you the course. That's extra. So let's do a couple scenarios. What if you're an OG, you feel, man, I was a CDPE. I want to be a CDPE again. But man, I haven't done anything in a while. I need that training. Oh, I love the idea of the Freedom Day. Then you're a true candidate to get the $499 deal. Because this is incredible what we did. For what I sell my course for every day by itself, they're getting your entire conference and the CDPE.
Right.
Now, if you recently took the CDPE and you paid $400 or $500 for it, you are a member already and you have your first year's membership covered. You wouldn't need to pay for the $499 deal. I would do your $99 deal,
yeah,
and get access to all the other great content.
Yeah, we've got the $99 deal where you could just come in general admission for the day of the conference. Remember that Tony's one of the speakers. The conference has a ton of speakers going on the stage. I mean, we've got everything from the CEO of SunWest Mortgage to the creator of Morgan AI to the creator of Real Bricks and the CEO of Real Bricks. We've got obviously Tony with CDPE. I'll be taking my spot in the morning and dropping bombs on everybody. We're going to really be talking about marketing with AI for real estate purposes. So it's going to be a lot of fun. The day is going to be pretty incredible. We've got a $99 general admission and we got a $249 VIP admission. So you just gotta, Clara, you just pick up a ticket, a regular ticket, because you just completed your course. So you don't need to pay the $499, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome event. I think that you doing it in Orlando is such a great opportunity for people that are out of area. Turn it into a vacation, man. Come on for the class. I mean, no, you didn't think about that at all, right, Dave? So
no, not at all. But I got to tell you guys, I'm pumped about the location because on top of all the great speakers that we have coming, the location is phenomenal. We are doing it at the Citrus Club in downtown Orlando. The Citrus Club is a members only club. One of the members recommended us. And so we were able to book their ballroom. Classroom style, maximum 250 people. We can't fit one more soul in there. 3 of the walls are windows to downtown Orlando. And the 4th wall is going to be screens with our stuff on it and our amazing speakers like Tony and myself hitting the stage and really just giving you guys a massive amount of knowledge that you can walk away with. That day is going to be completely focused on market conditions. So that's Tony's going to be playing a big part of market conditions. We're going to be touching on AI and real estate. We're going to be discussing marketing and foundation work, business development. And then, of course, every one of my events holds a mindset portion to it. And we've got 2 great coaches coming. One of them is known as the Mindset Guru, San. And then Tanya, who's known as a peak performance coach. She's going to be coming and talking to us about staying in peak performance for our lives and businesses. So we're going to have a crazy, amazing event. Tony, I've got you scheduled that day in the perfect position. We'll talk about that later. And then But man, thank you for spending time with us today. Thank you for dropping some terms and some real knowledge on us. I'm always excited to be in communication and have conversations with you. So it's been a real pleasure. I hope that everyone here today really walked away with some amazing knowledge, more than anything, encouragement to get your CDPE. Because I believe that, listen, you're coming to Freedom Day, book that ticket ASAP. Freedom Day is going to be amazing, but cherry that ice cream, right? Like put the cherry right on top with the whipped cream and all, and get your CDP. I'm a fan. I'm a believer. I've been there, done that, right? I know how these markets work. This is my 18th year in real estate, guys. Like, I've seen a couple cycles. The longer you're in this business, the more cycles you will see. And I want you guys to be prepared for it more than anything else. I don't want you to take this class in a year from now when shit is really hitting the fan. I want you taking this class ahead of time, having the knowledge, becoming a member, paying your yearly dues, doing your thing, and really being heavily involved with the knowledge and the message and the content that goes out to our consumer base. Tony, thank you so much for doing this with me, man. It's a real pleasure, man. Real pleasure.
They can go to cdpe.com. They can see right there what we normally sell the course for and how good a deal what your offering is. They can email us support@cdpe.com if they have any questions. But I'm definitely encouraging as many people as possible to just get your package so that they get well-rounded information on many different topics. So we'll see you on the 20th, brother, if not sooner. But thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Take care, everyone. Stay safe.
You guys
Bye-bye.
take care. We'll see you next week, 11 a.m. We're always here. You guys have a great Freedom Day.